Hello, boys and girls. Marvin T. Moose here. Oh, better. Okay. And this is part 2 of Fractured Fairy Tales. And away we go. Oh, and here's Miss Lynn. What?
Super Red Riding Hood by Claudia de Villa. Not far from here, near a small forest, lives a girl named Ruby. Ruby's favorite color is red. She loves red berries, her red boots, and especially her red cloak that her grandma made for her. When Ruby puts on her red cloak, she becomes Super Red Riding Hood. One sunny afternoon, Ruby was very busy playing superhero in her room when she heard her mother call from downstairs. "Ruby!" "Is it something important, Mom?" she called back. "It sure is. Looks like Super Red Riding Hood has an important mission," Ruby declared. So she threw on her red cloak, grabbed her flashlight. A superhero must always be prepared for anything. "You've been indoors all day," her mother said. "Why don't you go pick some raspberries to have for your snack?" This did not sound like an important mission to Ruby, but she could see that her mom meant business. Ruby kissed her mom goodbye and set out along the path to the raspberry bushes with her lunchbox in her hand. "The woods are deep and dark and full of danger," Ruby said to herself, "but Super Red Riding Hood is never scared." Ruby was marching bravely along when, oh no! Ruby's big red rubber boot almost crushed a tiny snail in the middle of the path. "This is a dangerous place for a little snail," she said. "Luckily, Super Red Riding Hood is here to rescue you." She carefully moved the little snail out of harm's way. "A good deed done," she said, and Ruby skipped toward the woods. "Who's afraid of the deep dark woods, the deep dark woods, the deep dark woods? Who's afraid of the deep dark woods? Na, 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 not me," she sang. When she got to the edge of the forest, she stopped and peered ahead. A chill drifted from the shadowy darkness. "A superhero must be silent like a cat and watch out for danger," Ruby whispered and tiptoed into the woods. The forest was full of strange noises. "Hoo hoo," said the owl. It was a very good thing she had remembered her flashlight. "An owl, a twig, a woodpecker," she said out loud, shining her bright light toward the different sounds. "Who's afraid of the deep dark woods, the deep dark woods, the deep dark woods? Who's afraid of the deep dark woods? Na, 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 not me," she sang as she walked. Before long, she came to a sunny clearing, and it was packed with raspberry bushes. She ran to fill her lunchbox with juicy red berries. "Mission accomplished," she said triumphantly. She was just snapping her lunchbox closed when she heard a new sound. A big, rumbly, growly, terrifying sound. Ruby's tummy twisted in a knot. Her teeth began to chatter. A superhero must be brave, she reminded herself. "Who's afraid of the wolf?" He towered over Ruby, looking frightful with his sharp claws and his yellow fangs and his bushy tail swishing from side to side. The wolf inched closer. Soon he was so close to Ruby that she could feel his steamy breath on her face. Excuse me, I'd like to get by," she said in a small voice. The wolf did not move. He grinned and said in a growly voice, "Where are you going all alone in this dark forest?" Ruby narrowed her eyes and peered at the shaggy beast. "Why do you want to know?" Well, just curious, I suppose. Maybe you can tell me this. What's in that box?" Ooh, he's scary. Before she could answer, the wolf lunged at her. Quick as a rabbit, Super Red Riding Hood hopped out of the way, used her super skills to leap and dart past the tricky wolf, and finally she scrambled up an oak tree and perched on a branch just out of the wolf's reach. While she sat and caught her breath, the grumbly wolf skulked around the trunk of the tree. Ruby had had enough. "Wolf," she called down, "let me pass." But the wolf stayed put. "Wolf, I'm going to count to 5, and you better leave me alone." The wolf still did not move. "1," said Ruby. "2, 3, 4. He could see that Ruby meant business. "Okay, okay, I'll leave you alone," he said. Ruby started climbing back down the tree, but then, growl. "Wolf," she said. "It's my tummy," said the wolf. "I'm just really hungry." "Well, why didn't you say so?" Ruby jumped out of the tree, her red cloak floating down behind her like a parachute. "If you wanted some of my snack, you could have just asked," she said. The wolf looked at Ruby with a big drooly smile. "Okay, can I have some?" he asked, holding out a paw. Ruby pulled her lunchbox out of the wolf's reach. "Not so fast, Wolf. You really scared me before, snarling at me with your big fangs and those sharp claws." The wolf's ears drooped and he looked at the ground. "I'm sorry," he said. And Ruby took a long look at the sad, hungry wolf. "Aw, forget about it," she said at last. And the wolf perked up and said, "Please," very politely. A superhero always helps those in need. So, Super Red Riding Hood did what any superhero would do. She popped open her lunchbox and shared the juicy berries. As Ruby and the wolf snapped together under the big oak tree, Ruby remarked, "I didn't know that wolves liked raspberries." "Oh, yes," he said, "they're our favorite." The wolf sat thinking for a little while as he munched. "I didn't know little girls could be superheroes," he said. "Oh, yes," said Ruby, with a wide smile. "We can." The end.
Very nice story, Miss Lynn. And now it's time for Miss Betsy and our next fractured fairy tale. And away we go.
Hi, this story is called The Three Billy Goats Fluff. It's by Rachel Mortimer and illustrated by Liz Pichon. The Three Billy Goats Fluff. Trip, trap, trip, trap. How was he supposed to sleep? Mr. Troll buried his head in his pillow and groaned. Oh! He looked back at the newspaper advertisement. Troll Paradise, fine riverside apartment with slimy toads and running beetle juice. Bargain. Great pad for sale. How could he have fallen for it? What the advertisement should have said was, or what the advertisement had not said, was noisy underneath the only bridge from the Rocky Mountain to the lush green field. Room with a trashy view. On the mountain next to Mr. Troll's bridge lived the three Billy Goats Fluff. They loved to eat the lush green grass in the field by the bridge. It made their fleeces extra fluffy, important for Mother Goat's knitting business. The three Billy Goats Fluff crossed the bridge twice a day. But this morning, Mr. Troll had a surprise for them. He had put up a sign. No trip-trapping over my bridge. Trip-trappers will be eaten. Mr. Troll. Little Billy Goat Fluff had not yet learned to read, so off he set as usual. He had just put one hoof on the bridge when Mr. Troll leaped out. I'm a troll with a very sore head. Stop trip-trapping over my bed. When I'm tired and feeling blue, there's nothing quite like little goat stew. Little Billy Goat was very scared, and he scampered back to Mother Goat. Next came middle-sized Billy Goat Fluff. His hooves were louder than Little Billy Goat's. Mr. Troll leaped out again. I am a troll in a very bad mood. Waking me up is terribly rude. Middle-sized goat makes a lovely roast or tasty pate upon my toast. Middle-sized Billy Goat raced back to Big Billy Goat. They were both too scared to cross the bridge. We're telling our mom on you, they said. Mother Goat listened to her Billy Goats, and she thought about Mr. Troll. She knew what it was like to live without sleep. Little Billy Goat woke her up every night. That night, as she sat knitting booties from the finest Billy Goat fluff, Mother Goat had an idea. The next day, Mr. Troll was waiting for them. I am a troll who's really cross. It's time to show you I'm the boss. When I'm tired, I need to eat. Goat and fries, my favorite treat. Big Billy Goat trembled as he handed Mr. Troll a present and a note from Mother Goat. If you can hear us trip-trap by, then you can make 3 Billy Goat pie. But if you are quiet as tiny mice, you must stop being grumpy and start being nice. Little Billy Goat Fluff was the first to try out Mother Goat's plan. He shakily put hand-knitted booties on, and they were so fluffy and bright yellow, his favorite color. Slowly he stepped out onto the bridge. Mr. Troll listened from his bedroom. Nothing? Nothing. Middle-sized Billy Goat Fluff was next. His hooves were quaking as he put on 4 exceedingly fluffy booties. Pink, middle-sized Billy Goat, was a real softie. Carefully he stepped out onto the bridge. Mr. Troll had pressed his ear to the roof. He couldn't hear a thing. Finally, it was Big Billy Goat Fluff's turn. His booties had taken most of the night to knit. With 4 huge pom-poms on his hooves, Big Billy Goat stepped onto the bridge. Mr. Troll strained his ears. Silence at last. How had they done it? Mr. Troll came out from under the bridge. He looked at the 3 Billy Goats Fluff happily munching the grass in the field. He looked at the present from Mother Goat, and then he opened it. Inside were the fluffiest earmuffs he had ever seen, wrapped inside one of Mother Goat's special blankets. Dear Mr. Troll, we are very sorry for waking you up. We hope this gift helps you have your best sleep ever. Love, Mother Goat and the 3 Billy Goats Fluff. That night, Mr. Troll drank a hot mug of beetle juice, read his favorite bedtime story, The Princess and the Troll. Then he put on his big fluffy earmuffs and cuddled his soft green blanket. For the first time in his new house, he slept and slept. He dreamed of fluffy clouds, fluffy toads, fluffy beetle juice, and best of all, his new quiet friends. The 3 Billy Goats Fluff. The end.
Thank you, Miss Bessie. And now it's time for Miss Michelle. Miss Michelle! Miss Michelle! I gotta go find her. We'll go get her. Okay, she'll be right here. Okay.
I'm coming.
Okay. Oh, you're late. Okay, I'm here. Okay.
Hi, boys and girls. This is The 3 Little Aliens and the Big Bad Robot by Margaret McNamara and Mark Fearing. This one's a little fractured fairy tale out in outer space. The 3 Little Aliens and the Big Bad Robot. Once, there was a mama alien who had 3 little aliens. They were called Bork, Gork, and Nicholas. Bork, Gork, and Nicholas grew up in an old-fashioned house in a snug, cozy crater on a tiny little planet. And as the eons passed, their house got too crowded. Well, it's time for you to go out into the universe and find a planet of your own, their mama told them, giving them each a hug. But remember, watch out for the big bad robot. It wants to chew you up. So Bork, Gork, and Nicholas took off. Zzz. Bye, Mama, they cried. Bye, kids, she shouted back. Always stick together, she added. Then she sniffed a little bit. And call me once in a while. Well, the 3 little aliens traveled far and fast. There's a cute planet, said Bork. Too hot, said Nicholas. How about that one? Asked Gork. Too crowded, replied Nicholas. They darted around a meteor. Are we there yet? Asked Bork. Just past the next bend, a big planet swirling with dust loomed into view. Bork spotted a shiny space rover zipping around its mountains and plains. Awesome, she said. I'm going to live in that. Ma said to stick together, called Nicholas. But Bork had already zipped too far away to hear. Nicholas and Gork traveled on. Nicholas didn't like the looks of the next planet either. Nowhere to breathe, he gasped. Picky, picky, Gork said, and then just ahead he spied a giant planet with huge golden rings around it, and he jumped on a passing satellite and caught a ride on a ring. Whee! He squealed. This is what I call home. We can't live on a ring that goes around in circles, yelled Nicholas. We'll get dizzy. But Gork wasn't paying any attention. Now Nicholas was all alone, and he traveled deeper and deeper into space until he spotted a massive blue planet far out into the galaxy. It had 13 moons and refreshing breezes. This faraway place is where I'll build my home, he said. It'll be safe from the big, bad robot. Uh-oh, I skipped a page. Well, Nicholas found everything he needed to make sturdy walls. He gathered stardust to keep his home bright and found solar panels to keep it warm. Then he grabbed a tall, shiny telescope. This'll do for a chimney, he said, though no one heard him. Rock by rock and row by row, Nicholas built the perfect house. And when he was finished, he sat down and locked the door. His house was not very zippy or cool, but it was safe, and there was room enough for all three little aliens. I hope they come to visit soon, said Nicholas. And hopefully they will. But then, one galactic dawn, there was a rumbling in the universe.
Creep, bonk, meep, piddly deep, ork, eep. It was the big, bad robot. Uh-oh. I wonder what's going to happen.
Bork was so busy on her swirly red planet that she couldn't hear the robot's call, and she didn't feel its giant footsteps as it leapt from star to star. And she didn't see the robot until it was right in front of her rover. Oh no.
Little alien,
Bleeped the robot.
pull over, pull over.
Not by the wheels on my trusty space rover, cried Bork bravely.
Then I'll crack and smack and whack your house down,
Meeped the robot. And just like that, the robot cracked and smacked and whacked Bork's shiny rover into 100 pieces.
Creep, boink, meep, piddly deep, ork, eep, eep.
And as fast as the speed of sound, Bork jetted away at the robot close behind her. Just as the robot was about to eat her up, she spotted Gork's satellite house. Gork, help me! She cried. Oh no, maybe they can escape, but we'll find out. But Gork was having so much fun surfing on the rings of the giant planet that he didn't hear Bork's cries, and he didn't see the robot chomping on comets and ripping open black holes until the big bad robot caught Gork's satellite in its huge metal claw.
Little alien,
He broinked.
come out of hiding.
Not by the orbit of this ring I'm riding, cried Gork stoutly.
Then I will shatter and clatter and scatter your house down,
Groinked the robot. Oh, he's really in a bad mood. And before Gork could fly beneath the radar, the robot clattered and scattered and shattered Gork's satellite into 1,000 pieces.
creep, boink, ork, meep, deep, piddly, eep, eep, eep.
Gork barely escaped. Over here, called Bork. Stick together. And and at the speed of light, Bork and Gork blasted out into space with a big bad robot getting closer all the time. Excuse me. Where can we hide? Asked Gork. Let's fight, cried Bork. He'll know what to do. Nicholas had heard the robots roar, and he had seen what was going on with his brother and sister through his telescope, and he was ready. He flushed his solar panels halfway across the universe. There he is, cried Bork and Gork, and they zoomed to Nicholas's house as fast as a hurtling asteroid. Get inside, cried Nicholas. No time to waste. No sooner had Bork and Gork slammed Nicholas's solid space rock door than they heard the robot rumbling.
Little alien,
He quaked.
let me come in.
Not by the slime on my chinny chin chin, cried Nicholas. And then I will smack and crack and whack your house down, zeeped the robot. I think the hardest part is getting the pages turned. I think. There we go. Well, the big bad robot had bashed and crashed Nicholas's strong, solid house. Nothing happened, and he's going, and then it pounded and smashed really hard. Not a crack. Then it loaded up its triple blaster and zapped that house, but good. But that house wouldn't fall down. So the robot forced its way into the little alien's house right down the chimney. And the aliens covered their ears and waited for the robot to chomp them up. But halfway down the telescope, that robot got stuck tight. It strained and it struggled and it moaned and it groaned. Nicholas's house shook and shuddered, but did it fall down? It did not. The robot gave one mighty cry, and he burst into a million pieces. Cool, said Bork. Awesome, said Gork. Just as I planned, said Nicholas. There's just one thing missing, said Bork. Phone home, said Gork. So Nicholas did. Ma, he said, we have the coziest house in the galaxy. Won't you come over and tuck us in? And guess what? And she did. That's the end of our story. And I'm looking for Marvin. Marvin. Let's go find Marvin.
I'm coming. Okay, I'm here. Well, anyway, just want to let you know that's the end of our story hour for this week for Fractured Fairy Tales. So, one last kid joke. Do you know what you get when you put a bunch of ducks in a box? A box of quackers. I thought that was good. Well, anyway, it's time to say goodbye and do our dance. Are you ready? Antlers. Bye, boys and girls. We'll see you soon. Bye.